What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome into NYJ today. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down my 53-man roster predictions for the 2021 New York Jets team. Let's go ahead and get after it. Before we get into the video, if I could please get you all to jet up the like button on this video. And if you're new here and you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. We are doing our giveaway this upcoming Wednesday. We're going to give away a signed Wayne Chrebet mini helmet. So if that's a prize that intrigues you, go ahead and support the channel and give yourself a shot at that prize. Last thing I want to say is I just want to remind you that this 53-man roster prediction is very likely to be not 100% accurate. So if there is something that you hear from me that you disagree with, just let me know in the comments section why you disagree with it, and I'm happy to have a discussion with you. It's a QB-driven league, so we'll begin right there with Zach Wilson and Mike White making the 53-man roster. Mike White and Zach Wilson did not dress for the Eagles game last night. I think that's a pretty sure sign that Zach Wilson is QB1 and that Mike White is QB2. Could they keep Josh Johnson as the third quarterback on the roster? Absolutely. And I think a lot of people want that. I think that the better option would be to put James Morgan on the practice squad because it frees up a roster spot. And we have a lot of positions that need more depth. So that's my take here with the quarterbacks. Next up, I have us keeping fullback and really like an emergency backup tight end in Trayvon Wesco. It's pretty clear to me that they want him to be the fullback. And guys, we used him a lot in the preseason. I think they were trying to get him as many reps as they could to get him ready for the season. I think he had some good and some bad in the preseason. My hope is that he just gets more comfortable with the role. And again, he showed that he can be a part of the receiving game. So hopefully he can help out Zach Wilson this upcoming season. Next up, we have the running backs. I have us keeping 4 running backs. Josh Adams looked like an absolute beast, and during the stream, I had said that I thought that he shows more explosiveness than La'Mical Pirine. I think he has a better first step. He's a little bit more burst to his game. I prefer that they keep Josh Adams, but again, this is a predictions video of what I think the New York Jets will do. So I think it's going to be La'Mical Pirine, Tevin Coleman, Ty Johnson, and Michael Carter leading this running back by committee. Next up, the offensive line. There aren't too many surprises here. I will go over the names that I did keep. Greg Van Roten, Corey Levin, Connor McGovern, David Moore, Morgan Moses, Elijah Vera-Tucker, Mekhi Becton, and George Fant. That's a pretty decent group. There's some decent depth. There are some concerns with the interior line, in my opinion. But I did let go of players like Jimmy Murray, Dan Feeney. I thought that they had some pretty bad spots during the preseason. Connor McDermott, I also let go. I don't know his health status, so it's hard to put him on the 53-man roster. It could be one of those situations where they release him, and then once he gets healthy, they might sign him back, and maybe exchange him for another player. Next up, I have the tight ends. I'm having us letting go Daniel Brown, who fumbled in a very, very bad spot last night against the Eagles. And I'm also letting go of Ryan Griffin. I think that, at 31 years old, could he be a contributor on the team? Probably. But again, he's getting kind of old, and I would rather us keep some younger players. And that's why the guy who a lot of Jets fans have been rooting for, Kenny Yeboah, I do have him staying on the active roster. It would be risky to put him on the practice squad. He could get, snatched up. So I have Chris Herndon making the roster. A lot of people might disagree with that. I think that he showed that he was a really decent blocker in the preseason. So if he can kind of be the tight end 2 of this offense, I feel pretty good about the tight end group, even though it's still not as strong as I would hope. One of the best training camp battles and preseason battles that we saw this preseason, I believe, was between Vincent Smith and Braxton Berrios. I really do believe that one of these guys will potentially get cut. That's going to be my prediction. I think that last night you saw them doing kind of the same things. They played a lot on special teams. And again, I don't know if last night determined anything, but to me, it just seems like Vincent Smith has been a little bit more involved with the first team offense. So right now, I've got us keeping Denzel Mims, Elijah Moore, no big surprises. Corey Davis, certainly not a surprise. He's wide receiver 1 on this team. Vincent Smith, Keelan Cole, and Jamison Crowder. So that leaves Braxton Berrios, he's off of this roster in my prediction. I think he's going to get snatched up by another team, and that will suck to see him go to another football team. But I think that in general, it's hard to keep 7 wide receivers. We have, again, so many other positions that we need depth at. And again, I feel really good about this wide receiver group. Now we move to the defensive side of the football, and at cornerback, I have us keeping Blesson Austin, Michael Carter II, Brandon Eccles, Javelin Guidry, Bryce Hall, Jason Pinnock, and Justin Hardy. Justin Hardy is more of a special teams guy, but he is the 7th cornerback that I'm keeping on this roster. That is a ton of corners. I didn't feel comfortable cutting any of the guys that we just drafted in the 2021 draft. I think they all kind of showed some decent signs. Certainly Bryce Hall is going to make the team. I think that maybe there's a chance Blesson Austin gets cut. I think that would be very surprising to me. I think he should be on the team. And Justin Hardy's not going anywhere. He's the best special teamer that we have on this football team. The linebacking position is very, very thin right now. We know that Jared Davis is injured and is going to be out for quite a while. We have C.J. Mosley, Hamza Nasruddin, Jamian Sherwood, Jared Davis, Noah Dawkins, and Blake Cashman making the final roster. Things can change. Once guys get healthy, once Jared Davis comes back, there's going to be cuts that need to be made. So there's a possibility that somebody that's on this list, it could change during the season. But this is what I have predicted for right now. The defensive line took a big hit, losing Vinnie Curry and Carl Lawson to season-long injuries. The depth chart here is what I have: Quinnen Williams, Sheldon Rankins, Bryce Huff, Foley Fatukasi, Jonathan Franklin Myers, Hamilcar Rashed Jr., Ronald Blair, and Jonathan Marshall. I think that the player that I'm not including in this list is Nathan Shepard. I think that the Jets will vie to keep Jonathan Marshall over Nathan Shepard. They did not draft this kid. And I think that they are more interested in having the younger and more upside in Jonathan Marshall. So that's why I have him on the roster and letting Nathan Shepard go. The safety room is actually one of those position groups that is also a lot like the linebacker group. It's very, very thin. I'm looking at these players and I'm just thinking, if Marcus May or if Lamarcus Joyner go out for any extended period of time, we could be in a lot of trouble in the back end. I'm keeping Sherrod Niesman and JT Hassel as well. It makes me very, very nervous to think about those guys playing a lot. The good news is that Ashton Davis will be back, hopefully week 2. That's the projected timeline for him to return. We need him back to be that 3rd safety on this defense. So hopefully we can get by week 1 without any injuries at this position group. And the last position group are just our special teamers. We've got the long snapper Thomas Hennessy, punter Braden Mann, and kicker Matt Amendola. I think Matt Amendola is safe for week 1. He had a really, really good game versus the Packers, a really solid game again versus the Eagles, making all of his kicks. If he can continue to be consistent, he doesn't have to be perfect, but if he can continue to be consistent, this can be his job for the long term. It's going to be very exciting to see him, in the early parts of the season, to see how he performs under pressure. Thomas Hennessy is a lock. We need a long snapper. And then Braden Mann, I'm just really, really excited about him. I think he's had an awesome preseason. Can't wait to see if he can transfer what he's done into the regular season. He had a lot of success pinning people back, so I'm excited about special teams, man. That's my 53-man roster predictions. Let me know what you guys agree and disagree with. Let me know who you would keep that I let go. And then vice versa, who would you let go that I kept? I'm very interested to hear what you guys have to say. It's a lot of fun actually to do this, to play general manager. This is the roster that, I think that they will build, but there's certainly going to be some differences. So again, I look forward to reading all of your comments. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching NYJ Today. Before you go, if you could please do me a favor and jet up the like button on this video. And if you're new here and you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go Jets, and I'll see you guys next time.